Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Pondering the Process, where we embark on a journey of discovery with some of the most creative minds in the community and explore the making of their latest projects. This week, we're having a chat with Momo about her work, Yellow Skylark, and the process and her evolution and growth that led to the creation of this piece. Hi Momo, nice to meet you. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Thank you for taking your time to talk with us and to explore your piece. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you for asking.
For sure. So, looking at your work called Yellow Skylark, I really like it. It's such an interesting piece. I like how you've blended the colors and you're able to show a lot of expression in the face. With that, I'm a big fan, so great work. Just putting that out there.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the title also is very interesting, right? Yellow Skylark. How did you come up with that, and what does it mean to you?
A lot of times when I'm working on a piece, or even when I'm titling it, it's very much intuition based. But I guess I was kind of going off of the prominent color that's in the piece, which to me kind of symbolizes warmth and sunshine, essentially optimism and positivity, as well as kind of like brighter days ahead, brighter future ahead. And that kind of combined with the word skylark. I probably couldn't even tell you what a skylark looks like, but I liked the notion of adding a bird into the title to perhaps represent soaring above the problems of the world, to constitute for the expression of freedom, in a sense.
I see. So was it always your choice to use yellow for this piece, or was it something that came up while you already started?
It definitely came up while I was already working on it. It wasn't like, I'm going to use yellow for this piece. It just kind of popped in there.
Okay, that's very interesting. So then, what was the inspiration behind the piece itself? What's the idea behind the concept?
So, kind of a few different things. I've been recently producing pieces that are based off of AI-generated images. So the portrait itself comes from an app called Midjourney. So essentially you give it a text-generated prompt and it will search out billions of examples on the internet to produce, in effect, an original image. So this piece is based off of an AI image that was prompted by the Instagram user katsukukoistoi.ai. And what's kind of remarkable about the AI images that are generated, especially when they are portraits, is they look like photographs. So they're essentially fake people. And I really liked the idea of taking something that was created by a machine and turning it around and making it human again. I also liked that it's essentially a fictional person, so I can use it as a reference, but at the same time I don't need to or feel obligated, I guess, to absolutely capture the likeness. And if you look back at the reference, you can see it's not a perfect likeness, and I prefer it that way with this piece, I guess. She kind of just ended up having her own face, and while there are similarities, it's not an exact match. And then with the background, so when I started this piece, it was just the background, and that's all I had, which you can kind of see like the spiral movement going on. And my main inspiration for that was Kundalini energy, which is often depicted as a snake. So I was trying to capture just like an abstract coil, I guess, of a snake in there, and then it kind of just bled into something completely different on top of that.
Interesting. I like the way you talked about using AI in your art, because there has been a lot of division in the creative community regarding that, right?
Yeah.
Some people say AI art is not real art. Some people say, well, it is. We have to spend time doing this and doing that. But I like the fact that you basically just said, you know what? I don't care if you say it's real art or not. I'm just going to use it as a reference. It's not going to replace me. It's just going to help me.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of controversy around it, and I got the idea of other artists who had a similar stance where they're like, well, I don't really care. I'm just going to use it as a tool because it's there. So I thought I'd just go off of that.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure back in the day, a lot of people who saw the tools we have right now, like use of projectors, being able to edit digital art, they probably would have been like, oh, what is that? But I do believe like you that people do need to see things as a tool. Is there a risk of AI art harming the art community? Yes, we're not going to say that there's zero risk, right? Because there's always that risk. But at the same time, there is nothing stopping people from evolving to use it. For example, references, like you said. So one great example would be someone who does fantasy art. You could easily go and generate the wildest thing on AI art and then put down paper, right? Just to try yourself out. Now you're not thinking about it from your brain. You don't have to go and do 20,000 sketches. Yeah. It will help you reduce your time significantly. So I really like your stance on that. I'm pretty similar in that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for snake-like spirals, it's portraying movement and energy. What techniques did you use to achieve this effect?
So a lot of it is keeping things really simple, keeping it in the simplest of shape by not adding a lot of details or creating bold outlines with it. So you can even see in her face how with that deep ochre yellow that's in there, I created with spray paint. So the base is acrylic and then a little blotch of spray paint that's not completely opaque, so you can see a little bit of the background popping through, but by not creating really bold outlines, especially on parts of her jawline and her ears, it gives this blurred effect, almost as if she's moving, which wasn't entirely intentional, but I liked the way that it was turning out, so I decided not to add certain details on it. But especially with the snake spiral in the background, I feel like that does kind of give it this almost spinning movement that's going on behind her, which was also unintentional because I was just trying to do very, very abstract snake form. Yeah.
Okay. So, having looked at the reference image, I already see that the colors on the reference image are already bold and expressive. But you also took that a bit further. So is this your usual style? Do you usually like bold and expressive work? Or is it just because the reference had that boldness that you decided to amplify it?
Well, I've always really enjoyed using bright colors, I guess you could say. But the last few years especially, I've been really playing around with very bold or neon colors or bright colors in general. And I think what really drew me to the reference photo was the fact that it was very bright. So it's a bit of both in this piece, incorporating from the reference, but also using a little bit of my own colors in there as well.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. So it seems like you were going to always paint something that was bold and expressive, and that's what actually drew you to the reference. Like, yeah. Nice. And what was the most challenging part of creating this?
Probably envisioning its full potential. I deemed it finished or complete when it was really in its infant stages, where it was just the very abstract snake spiral. and I thought it was finished for a while. But in the creative process, I've learned that if I come to a point in a piece where I'm no longer enjoying it or not really liking the result, I definitely have to step back from it and take a break, which is what happened when it was just a spiral. So I put it down for a while and then decided to keep going with it. So I guess, yeah, just trusting the process, I guess, that can definitely be a big challenge to overcome.
For sure. And I'm happy you mentioned about knowing when it's finished, because I have noticed that as a creative person, it's basically never finished, right? Like you always go back to it and you're like, oh, I can do something else, right? So it's always that challenge of where you draw the line between when something is really finished and something isn't. So for you as a creative person, what usually is the point where you say, okay, this piece is finished?
Right. A lot of times I won't know a piece is finished. Case in point with this piece where for 6 months I thought it was. So you can even see in this piece where I didn't finish the ears, there's not a lot of detail in the hair or the shoulders or the neck. A lot of times, again, it's very intuitive based to the point where it's very involved. And I almost feel like the painting itself is alive and it's an entity of itself. And there are times where, I know it kind of sounds weird, but I feel like it speaks to me and it will tell me, yeah, you need to keep going with me, or no, I'm finished. So I kind of have to listen to what it's trying to say.
Oh, I understand that.
Okay, cool.
Don't worry. I feel the same way too with a lot of my projects, right? I look at it and I think it's finished, and then sometimes I'm sleeping at night and then I wake up and I'm like, oh wait, I could do this, I could do that, right? Like, yeah, it's almost never finished. But sometimes I do look at it and I'm like, okay, maybe I will have new ideas, but let me take a step back and accept this as the final work. And then down the line, like you said, 6 months, which is impressive that you came back to it after 6 months.
Yeah.
And then down the line, if I have an improvement, I'll come back. I mean, sometimes you get to a point too where someone sees the piece and they're like, oh, I like to display this in my gallery, or I like to buy it. And then at that point, you're like, okay, someone likes it, maybe it's finished.
Right. Yeah.
But sometimes you just never get to that point. Someone might want to buy it and you're thinking that, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a very challenging thing. It probably varies from piece to piece.
For sure. Yeah, definitely.
So I guess what would you say is the most important message you would like the audience to take away when they look at this piece?
Well, as far as the broad general message, which ties into the title, was to keep persevering towards personal evolution and to try and stay optimistic about what that process is, and leaning into and trusting uncertainty and trying to remain optimistic and hopeful about what the future will hold. A lot of times with my pieces, if I'm exhibiting them and people are interacting and trying to figure out what it means, more often than not, I'll just sit back and observe them having their own interaction. I think it's really important for people to make their own assumptions about what a piece means. Because if I were to give it an exact direct meaning, it can definitely take away from the experience that maybe they were supposed to have with it. So I like the piece to resonate with a person the way they want to see it. And so in that way, with a lot of my portraits, I call them subjective portraits. One, because they're not always perfect likenesses, but two, I want the audience to really almost view my pieces as a mirror. So whatever reflects back is what's meant to reflect back. And maybe that's kind of a shortcut answer, but...
No, that's a great answer. So taking a step back real quick, because you mentioned how you had a 6-month break between the initial stage and this stage. aside from that 6-month break, right? How long did this piece take you as a whole? Like from the research to the final work, if you take out the 6-month break?
If I take out the 6-month break, probably about maybe 3.5 hours, something like that. Yeah, I tend to work in a fast pace, which causes me to be really prolific, I guess, which can be a problem because I just have so many paintings filling up my space. But to me, it's really all about flow and essentially alchemizing energies and emotions that I'm feeling collectively or personally. So it's something that can, not take a lot of time to do.
Yeah. Plus you're doing what you love.
Yeah, exactly. If I end up spending a lot of time on a piece, it will get to the point where I get bored of doing it and I end up not liking it. And at that point, it really defeats the purpose to sit in frustration with a piece and not like it or be bored about it. So I try to just stay in that moment, stay in that flow until it tells me that it's finished. So.
I see. It's pretty interesting hearing different people talk about their different styles and what works for them. So, since you were talking about how if your work is on display, you usually like to sit back and hear what people have to say, I'm going to tell you what I thought about when I first saw the piece.
Okay, yeah.
So, basically what I saw was, it looked like a moment of sudden realization. Almost like an intense light bulb moment. It's almost a fantasy thing, right?
Yeah.
Like there's that wow factor to it. Like I am entranced by what I'm seeing or by what I'm realizing. Especially with all the spirals and the energy around it, it just seems that way. And then her gaze looks so fixated on something.
Right.
Yes, this definitely looks like sudden realization. Probably the biggest light bulb moment ever or something. So that's what I thought about it. Like I said, I'm a fan for sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay, and do you have any future work that builds on this idea or the themes that you've explored here?
Absolutely. I plan on creating more portraits based off of AI images. As for themes relating to like Kundalini energy, probably not, but who knows, whatever strikes my fancy in the moment. I might change my mind, but I definitely do want to do more AI portraits for sure.
I see. We're looking forward to that. I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So, you've told us about how you've grown and evolved to using AI as a reference in your work and using it as a way to enhance your skills further, basically. But can you tell us more about how your art in general has evolved over time and where you see it going in the future?
Yeah, I mean, even looking back at my work from just a year ago, I can really see I've kind of honed in on proportions, especially in portraits and in bodies, where before it really wasn't a main concern. I liked having things disproportionate and looking surreal in that sense, but now it's very much kind of leaned into not realism, but perfecting values and perfecting shapes of the face. I've really built a lot on my abstract pieces, where before, they were just abstract, that's all they were, and now I've decided to build a portrait on top of that and really layer. So you can really see I'm using more freedom. I'm being more expressive in leaning in and trusting the process and trusting that I can just continue to build layer upon layer upon layer. And I feel like that really correlates with, just building as a person. Who you are at your core is still there, but sometimes you build upon it to the point where it might be completely unrecognizable, and there might still be essences that shine through. So I feel like as I advance more as a person, so does my artwork, and I really like seeing that reflection as well.
That's interesting. I honestly would like to see how your art evolves as well. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see where it is even a year from now. So I'm excited as well.
Exactly. A year from now, it could be something different. Okay, so that's all the questions I have regarding Yellow Skylark.
Okay.
Right. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Like I said, wonderful piece. Great job. Again.
Thank you.
So right now, I just wanted to talk to you about the Udocreatives app.
Okay.
So I just wanted to ask you what you thought about the app, and if you did sign up, how was the sign up process?
Yeah, I did download it and I signed up. It was really simple, really easy. Everything was really simple to navigate and set up. And I think I just heard from one of your last showcase interviews that it's not algorithm based, and I love that. I love that everyone gets a chance to post what they want and it's going to be seen. But at the same time, you don't need to continually be on it and be posting constantly. So I really like the amount of freedom and that it's geared towards creatives. I think that's really important. And I really like what you have going with it, for sure.
Oh, thank you. I'm pretty happy that you saw that, because a lot of what you said is what we're going for, right? We're trying to make sure that everyone has an equal chance to be seen. So if you have 20,000 subscribers versus if you have 2 subscribers, right? It doesn't matter. You have an equal chance of being seen in the spotlight page, right? And you have your feed page, which is where you have people you're subscribed to. You see work from people that you follow or your work, right? And all that is done chronologically. But sometimes you might want inspiration from other people, so you could just open the spotlight page, look through what they're saying, right? Or go to the discussions page, check out what people have been talking about recently, ask your own questions, or even just go to different people's posts and ask questions, because you can discuss the post right under it, right?
Yeah.
So we'll discuss the post right there. And one other thing we're particularly proud of is our glances feature. So it's a 7-day story. The reason why we made it 7 days is so that people don't feel pressure. There's a glances tab on the spotlight, so if you put something on the glances tab, it could still show up in the spotlight, so people can still see where you are and they can subscribe to you from that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you could also put videos and pictures on there. So the aim of glances is show us your progress, show us your techniques, put it on there. That way people know what you're working on, and your feed page is not cluttered up with process videos. It's more like, okay, these are my final prints. If you come to my feed page, you're going to see what I'm about. You're not going to see 1,000 videos or 1,000 pictures, right? Like, these are what I want you to see. And if you want to follow my journey as an artist, subscribe and you can always see my glances.
Oh, okay.
Right? So that's the idea behind that. And what we're trying to make sure is we want people to focus on creating. We don't want people to have to become influencers, because we feel like on other social media platforms, you're competing with so many other people. You're competing with people that are content creating for other fields, right? And I feel like a lot of those apps even drive competition. They want you to compete because they're trying to have as much content. But we're taking a step back here and saying, no, focus on creating. You have no pressure here, right? It's a safe space. There's no competition. We don't even show the amount of likes a post has, because we don't want people to be psychologically convinced that this is a good post or this is a bad post. We want people to see it like, oh, okay, I like this post, I'm just going to like it, or I want to reference this post later, I'm going to bookmark it, right? Things like that. Right, yeah. Right. So I was telling someone this earlier, but I think a good way to describe it would be, imagine you go into a building with a bunch of your work. You just hang it around, right? And people come in, they admire it. You go to other people, you admire their work. That would be the post section. And then you see other people around. You ask them questions about their work, or you just ask them general questions. That would be the discussion part of the app. And you can also say, oh, these are the techniques I used. This is the progress videos I have. That would be the glances section. So we're trying to build that whole community hub, a virtual space where everyone just feels safe and they can all concentrate on creating. There's no judgment here. It's all about the creatives and not about the app, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I love that. It's down to basics without any bullshit. For sure. I like that.
Yeah, thank you so much. And we even just added something called the events feature. So we're trying to allow people to post about events. A lot of people think that, oh, I can't show off my art because I'm not pro. I don't feel like I'm that good. But what we're saying is this app is for everyone. If you're a hobbyist, put your art on there, right? If you're someone that just likes to sketch randomly, maybe while you're bored, put it on there, right? If you're the type of person that you have your friends over and you guys just do like a super paint event at your house, put it on there, right? Like anyone, you don't have to be a pro. It's all about inspiring and safe spaces. So there's something for people who are just starting out, right? People who are just starting out can easily come in there, get inspiration, have all the tools they need, right? If you have questions, you can ask the entire community and the discussion sections. If you need inspiration, you can see examples of what other people have done, right? And then people that are established, like yourself, you could go in there, see people you want to collaborate with, find inspiration for new work, answer questions that beginners have, right? People can also direct message you, but if you don't like what they're saying, you can block them. We made sure that's a thing. And even people who don't consider themselves creatives, but just like to admire, can go there and just swipe through, see what the whole community is about. Maybe that will even inspire them to try their hands at creativity because no one's judging them, right? And they have all the tools they need. So we're trying to make creativity as accessible as possible to everyone, so no one feels alone throughout their creative journey.
I love that. That's so awesome.
Thank you. That's what we're striving for. So I'm pretty happy that you downloaded the app and tried it out. Yeah, so I don't know if you have anything else to add.
I'm just grateful that you reached out and really appreciate this opportunity to share my process with you. So thank you again.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, too, for coming to share your process with us. It's been a great journey, actually. We've had this and people have opened up about multiple things, about different parts of their art. It's been great. And thank you so much for your time. Again, tell your creative friends about this app. And if you're hosting a show, you know, you could put it on there.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much, Momo.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, too. Thank you. Have a great day.
You as well.
Right then. Bye.
Bye.